Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all the geeks out there and out of the Geekdom, and welcome to our podcast number 4?
4.
Yeah, 4. I lose track because eventually we're going to get to like podcast number 10. I'll be like, what podcast is it again? But anyway, yes, podcast number 4. I'd like to welcome our special guest, Tunes.
Geekoscopy.
Or otherwise known as Geekoscopy.
or Doctor.
Or Dr. Tunes.
I have an identity crisis my first time in the show.
Does.
Who am I? Yes, my brand name is Geekoscopy.
Yes, Angel, is that inverted or is it the right way around?
It's inverted, so he went Y, but he went from the Y.
Yeah, so it's actually
Wait, am I inverted on you guys?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me? You told me everything was fine.
Because there we go. Because it looked fine. Didn't pay attention to the cap.
Now I'm singing it backwards. I'm mirror version of myself.
That's fine though. As long as everyone else can see the name, it's perfect. Alright, so most of you may know Geekoscopy or Tunes or however you'd like to call him from the Geek Inspired podcast, which is something that we used to do a long time ago, which we put on hiatus for the moment. Because all of us are very
of life.
busy. Yeah, life, you know. Tunes is busy, we're busy, you know, the world is busy. So we've decided to put it on hiatus just for a bit until we can actually, you know, put it into our busy schedules. But Tunes, I think I need to let everyone know. Tell us a little about you, since now it is actually about you.
Yeah, you're in the hot seat now.
This is uncharted territory for me. Your editor's going to play the Uncharted theme while I talk. But yeah, essentially, okay, what I do, well, I like to say that I'm a scientist by day and a content creator by night. So I'm qualified as a marine biologist. I have a doctoral degree in zoology, and during the day I kind of keep aquatic pets and like torture them for science and then write papers about them and how they react. Most of my research has to do with kind of environmental change and how we as humans change our environment, and then so change the environment that things like fish or corals live in and how that affects them. At night I'm a content creator and I create videos, podcasts, sometimes blog posts. It's been a while since I've written stuff about stuff that I like. That, well, it started off first with stuff that I like that wasn't related to science, but it slowly kind of melded together. So my tagline, I suppose, is trying to explore the kind of intersection between science, story, wonder, and philosophy, which is essentially everything that we use science to test with, but also communicate that using story and multimedia, and also sometimes looking into geek culture, i.e. video games, anime, and stuff like that, and see where science is kind of used, or whether science theory is taught in those ways or referenced in those ways. And yeah, it's kind of a mishmash of science, nerdery, and geekery and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I do in the after hours.
In the after hours.
Yeah, and it's after dark.
That would be a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, that would be. So I mean, you know, this is a brilliant segue. Being a marine biologist, you know, looking at all the things like that, and obviously doing the whole, you know, experimentation on corals and things like that.
How many animals do you want to take home?
I don't take them home. They're all in my lab. I don't, where I live, I don't usually keep animals except, you know, a cat and a dog, which I don't really have right now. They're back in Durban. But
Yeah,
at
I
one
was gonna
point,
say, where's
at one point, I
Natsu?
was looking after about 1,000 clownfish.
Jeez.
And Amphiprion Ocellaris, which is the clownfish that's in Finding Nemo. I had a bunch of them that I was doing experiments on for my honors work, my GC honors work.
Oh, wow.
I think that's the most amount of animals I was looking after at one go.
Ouch.
No, it's usually about 50 to 100 like silverfish, known as king
Wow.
snapper at a time. Yeah.
That's impressive. Jeez.
I jumped in on Zip's question, I'm sorry, but it was one that I needed to ask.
Wasn't really a segue anyway. It was just it was so well connected that I just thought that we could connect it along with everything else, because marine biologist Subnautica, you've been playing that. So I don't know how much of it you have played though.
Yeah. Bin is I think overestimated. I think I played it twice.
So, well, the two times that you did play the game, what did you think of it? I mean, what were your impressions of it?
I like the setting. I like the art style. I mean, I like the premise. You know, the whole like survival aspect and trying to build out a way to, you know, get off the planet and stuff. But I think it was kind of too slow and kind of too horrific. I think for me, it gave me too much. It gave me too much anxiety. Like it was a bit too annoying to stay alive, especially at night. And I mean, I use video games as a way to relax. I don't necessarily want to be stressed out
Tensing
by it. yeah. I mean, I have to encounter enough stress during my work in science, like. Which is already dangerous to my life. I've come close to death so many times, from like drowning to getting electrocuted to like getting cut, and like I think I've had enough. My life is Subnautica.
Well, now I want to hear about these drowning and electrocution stories. We've never heard this before.
Are you a qualified diver?
No.
Are you qualified in diving?
Qualified diver. No,
Okay,
maybe
so
that's why I
how'd you
almost
come close to drowning.
It was on a field trip. And like between like doing field work and like catching animals and doing experiments and stuff, we just decided to take a dip in the water. But I got caught in an undertow and got like pulled out.
Oh.
Oh,
To sea,
okay.
not too far. I was able to get kind of helped back by some local like, swimmers. Yeah, it was a scary time. I was like, I think I was in second year, either second year or third year at university. And yeah, I underestimated the sea. Which is not something you should do.
No, definitely not. And the electrocution one, what did you like? Plug it in incorrectly or something?
Is that why you look so wiry all the time?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to.
What did she say? Do I look so wary all the time? Like
Wiry.
wiry.
You know.
What does that mean, kids? Wiry.
Zip is doing it. If you watch him, he's making the faces.
Like the squirrel from Ice Age.
Basically.
Yes, basically.
No, when it comes to the electrocutions, it's just kind of par for the course when you work with aquariums all the time, because it's a lot of
Explode
electrical
wires.
equipment that's in water, and
Yeah.
some things are bound to like break and shock you. So it's kind of one of those things that just come with this type of job.
You have to
A
have a
lot of,
hardy
like,
heart.
Heaters have like, yeah, a lot of heaters are like cracked while they were submerged, and you put your hand in there and you just got like, shocked.
Shame, and the poor fish are probably like sitting
Why
there going,
not?
oh.
I think if I was in like an MMO, my electrical resistance would be pretty high for an average human being. I have like +2 electrical resistance. Just being shot.
You'd be a Dragon Ball Z character.
Yeah, you could be like
Kamehameha.
Super Saiyan 2 by now.
Yeah. Well, I just generate any electricity. I can just take it.
Well, you don't know. Have you tried to generate electricity?
Nah, jeez, that's
I think
terrible.
everyone as a kid tries to see whether they have superpowers and tries to do it.
And they all find out that they don't.
And yeah, they all find out.
No, I used to take. We had a beach umbrella. I used to jump off the roof with the beach umbrella.
Jeez Louise. Did you get it?
It wasn't a very high roof. It wasn't a very high roof. It was very slow, you know. It was a very slow descent, so it was fine. I survived every time. I just kept doing it.
You try to be Mary Poppins.
Actually, no, I'd never seen Mary Poppins before in my life. I only saw Mary Poppins at, I think it was 13. First time I saw Mary Poppins. I didn't even know
Shame
what
on
Mary Poppins
you.
was. I wasn't a big fan of those kinds of
aware
movies.
Mary Poppins, but I also don't remember watching it all the way through. But it's obviously
It's
like
one of my favorites.
your favorite.
It's
Really?
one of my favorites.
Yeah, she loves Mary Poppins.
I watched it again recently and I was like, oh, I love it. It's so cool. And I started bopping along and dancing. It was really fun.
That's pretty cool.
Cancelled that Disney subscription.
When I think of Mary
It's a-
Poppins, I just think of Guardians of the Galaxy, and the character in there is like, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all," and he's like flying with his little, what is that thing called? Little like arrow thing.
I don't know. No, yeah, it was such a long time since I've seen
It was a good scene though.
It was. But Guardians of the Galaxy was funny, you know, from beginning to end. The first
I mean, Guardians
was-
of the Galaxy 2 wasn't as good as Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
No, it definitely wasn't. It wasn't bad, but it was nowhere near as good as number one. Number one was still epic in my eyes.
Yeah,
But they both made me laugh, which was important. You know?
Number one, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy is the only movie I've ever seen twice in cinemas. Like, that's how good it was for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
2
I
is
don't really repeat
lackluster.
watch movies.
It is lackluster.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. I mean, look, I'm not one to repeat watch movies, so when it comes to cinema, the only time I think I've ever actually repeat watched movies was Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and Return of the King. It was the only movies that I actually watched, I think, 3 times in cinema. But that was the only time I've ever actually rewatched a movie because I enjoyed it that much. So,
And now we have the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
so I've got DVDs back
you-
home,
you also
Blu-rays
have
here.
the-
You're talking
I
about the
also
extended
have
cuts.
I haven't- Yeah, the extended ones. I
got the
haven't.
last one.
The one that comes in like a gold book, I think.
Well, they're actually 3. Well, I don't know. It depends on the Blu-ray. If it's Blu-ray, I think it's a thick gold box about that thick or something like that. But
Yeah.
I've got the
That's the one I
DVDs.
have,
Yeah, I've got the DVDs of Return of the King, but I don't have the others before that. I actually want to get those box sets as well, because they're very rare. They're bloody hard to find here. So
Yeah.
so I'm looking for those.
Each one,
those here.
in the ones I have, each one has like an hour-and-a-half documentary for each of the movies. On
Yeah,
top of
that
that,
takes
So,
away
like,
takes away from the 2 hours extra movie that you have as well.
so it's like, I think it's in total like 18 hours of content in the box.
Yeah.
So like you have to sit for a whole like weekend and watch the
With
whole
one
thing.
movie. That's just one. You'd have to take like a
I
week
also
off
love
to actually
Lord
watch
of the Rings,
everything. Yeah, I'm a huge
Yeah,
fan.
I haven't done it in a
Um,
long while. I think I need to. I think this
Yeah,
winter
no,
is
I
gonna
actually
be
think
a
we
great
have to
watch.
do. We're going into summer now, so we're in spring actually, but we're going to be moving into summer now, so it's going to be nice and hot here.
It's-
Hot is.
Yeah, it's still cold. And it like rains, and then the sun shines, and then it rains, and then the sun shines, and then it rains, and then the sun shines. It's can't make up its mind. Like now it's getting all overcast and cloudy, and when we woke up it was sunny. Yeah, the sun is still out, but not for long. And then it's going to rain for like half an hour, and then it'll be sunshine, and then it'll rain again, and then it's sunshine.
That just sounds like every day in Port Elizabeth. We get all 4 seasons every day here. Oh, it's not Port Elizabeth anymore, it's Klopeg.
I saw that.
Fun times, fun times.
I saw people getting so upset about the name change. I remember hearing about that.
Why?
The thing is, like, the name change in itself is understandable given like the history of the country and stuff. But the thing is, we have so much other stuff we could spend money on to improve people's lives.
Yeah. But also, you know, the whole thing is, sorry, carry on.
It's just confusing. It's the timing and everything. Like during a pandemic, like
You think they'd be spending money on something
mixed emotion. Yeah. Like, where's our vaccine? Like, we're still waiting.
Where's your fucking electricity?
Where's my
No,
power?
we'll spend millions on a name change, but you know, fuck your electricity. You guys
You can live in the dark. Enjoy the name change in the dark by candlelight.
Yeah, I mean, literally the week after the name change, like load shedding started again.
Well, we know we all taxpayer money, wait. Yeah.
I mean, it's a complex issue, but yeah, it's just confusing.
Well, I saw something interesting on your Twitter now where you said Happy Pi Day and Einstein's birthday. So Happy Pi Day and Einstein's happy birthday. That's pretty cool.
It was March the 14th. It wasn't as 314 in the US, I suppose. So 14-3. How the rest of us say it. Which is Pi Day, the number for pi, and Einstein's birthday.
Nice.
Does that mean we can just have pie all day?
I mean, if that's how you want to interpret this holiday, you go for it.
Yeah,
Treat
but
yourself.
it's not exactly what it means.
No, it's not.
But
Hey, good news.
yeah,
We
no.
should have 3.14 pi.
3.1.
I was just going to say you can only have 3.14 pi.
That's a lot of pies.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, though, then we also have to celebrate the fact that it's officially been a year since lockdown started, or a year since 14 days to slow the spread. So it's
Here at least. I think you guys were
300
not that far behind us though.
so it's 364 days to not really do much, actually. So yes, that's what we're getting on our side
Well,
at the
yeah,
moment.
I
A lot of people talking about that.
I mean, it's difficult to say because you don't know how things would have went if there were no lockdowns. You know, it could have been much worse. It could just be like survivor bias, and we're like, oh, lockdown was for nothing. But you don't know unless we see that alternate universe, and everything is just flames. People are still like this. Fine.
Like
Yeah,
a
no,
proper
the
zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gamers will be fine though because we're ready for this shit.
We've been preparing our whole lives.
we know how to gather. We know how to scavenge. We also know how to learn how to pick up new skills. So we're
Kez
quite-
knows
quite
how to
good.
lure all the bad people and the zombies and the affected people to one place.
Yeah, and then have me just like nail them with a baseball bat. Well, club. She's the lure. I'm the dickhead who shoots them with a blunderbuss in the back of the head.
Kills all my friends.
If you watch the 7 Days to Die video, you'll understand.
We have friends.
I need new
I heard about
friends.
it. Heard about it in the last episode of the podcast. Or Queer Razor.
Yeah, no, I think you'll find it funny because I was chasing after her. As she ran, it's like she runs this way. She's got all of her friends running with her, and then you just see me come behind and go, "Baba!" And they're both dead. And she's like, oh, my friends.
Teamwork makes
But
the
yeah.
dream work.
Exactly, whatever makes the dream work. But yeah, no, it's been interesting with the lockdowns and all that stuff. I mean, how's South Africa being a load shed country where electricity is more scarce than water. What is it like to actually have to deal with your load shedding now that started up and started getting worse now that they've spent money on the wrong thing instead of the right thing?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It seems like every week there's a new problem, and I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that electricity is less scarce than water, because there is kind of like a drought situation in South Africa right now, especially
Was
like
a joke.
Eastern and Western Cape. I
Yeah, no, I hear you guys are getting a drought season happening on your side.
The thing is, like, I mean, the economic side, we got junk status, and like, it's just,
Yeah.
it feels like it's apocalyptic, but everybody's still carrying on like normal. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
you know,
only like, it's like we try not to think about it. We just try to live our lives, because otherwise everybody would just be in despair, which we already are from so many things. But like,
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and this pandemic coming along and all the lockdowns is just added insult to injury, really.
yeah.
Well, on the lighter side of things, your podcast that you do with, I don't know what it's called, I forgot. But the one where you have all the different doctors and scientists and different people that make science fun with the games and things like that. What made you decide to do something like that? Because that's pretty different, and it's actually really, really interesting. Some of the episodes that I've been able to watch, it's quite interesting to see how they brought the different things in and all of that. So tell us about that and how the idea came and all those things.
Geekoscopy 101 is my podcast show where I explore the nexus between science, story, wonder, and philosophy, which is essentially how people communicate science using story, kind of media, social media, video, things like Instagram, TikTok, podcasting. It's essentially how people can use all these new forms of media and or storytelling to convey important messages in science or even other kind of social matters. Yeah, and it's kind of like the podcast represents me, I think, like on a human level, because I am this kind of nerdy geek or geeky nerd. I'm in the academic realm as a scientist, but I also enjoy playing video games and watching anime and doing content creation. So it's kind of like a distillation of me and my journey through life. And I'm hoping that it's useful to certain people and they get inspired by it in certain ways, and use all the kind of new ways that I'm exploring in their own way to kind of go off and teach people science in funky, interesting ways. And I think it's really important and kind of necessary. There was a new academic paper that came out recently. I actually discussed it with my latest guests that were recorded with yesterday. And the paper says that it's really important to be able to entertain people before you actually even teach them anything. Because if you don't keep their attention captivated, they're not going to watch through the whole thing and then learn what you're trying to teach. So the game is actually entertaining people, and the side effect is teaching them. It's not the other way.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's not the other way around.
That is freaking awesome.
Because the thing is, if you approach it from the other way around, that's basically just like a lecture, and people can go to universities for lectures.
Yeah, we don't need that.
To be honest, I'd listen
the
to one.
standard way.
Yeah. To be honest, I'd listen to one of your podcasts. I would. I'd jump on it. You're going to actually have to send us the links. You have to anyway.
I've got all the links. Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah, go to geekoscopy.com and you should find it.
Yep.
Because I'm more than likely going to listen to a couple when I'm playing games and stuff like that. Because I like to listen to things while I play like games like 7 Days to Die or Atlas or anything like that. I prefer to actually sit and listen to something and either educate myself on something or just have someone talking in the background and listen to what they're talking about, just because it actually is fun. So you got different sides of the thing. So you got some people who will play while listening to whatever you're talking about, whatever the scientific thing of the day is. And you got other people like, I'm going to be listening to this when this comes up as well, just so that I've got an idea of how our podcasts go. I do listen to our own
It's
podcasts.
horrible. It's awful. Well, the first few were like...
Yeah, the first few were...
The first few were our
painful.
technical difficulties podcast.
Yeah. We actually have to get a
Half
few of the
course.
guests back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to get one of our guests back because of the absolute bomb that happened.
Yeah. But hey, I managed to salvage it like relatively okay, the one with Zaffa, but
Oh, yeah.
that's not that's not the point. The point is to speak to Mr. Tunes.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah,
going back
it's
to...
all, it's
to
all
the-
related. I mean, I have my own story.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
We both do. Both the SA Geeks and you do, because we've got the Geek Inspired podcast enough proof
I
that
mean, yeah, we both
we know.
Yeah, we have a show
Power
together.
cutting.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? We had a technical difficulty on this new podcast with Zaffa, and when he was on the Geek Inspired podcast, his power got cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't load shedding.
No, it wasn't load shedding, but I just remembered that now that at both times it happened with Zaffa.
Yeah.
No, that's what we
The
got to have him
Inspire
back on
podcast
our
was
side.
like a trial by fire when it comes to
Yeah.
online podcasting. 'Cause we had every
Yeah.
possible technical difficulty in the book. We might have even invented some.
Yeah, something. It's like, that's never happened to me before.
Well,
Yes, no, we've had some weird ones. We had the screeching microphone.
oh, that was horrible.
Oh yeah, those were the worst. Those were the worst.
She's like, yeah, it was terrible. You like speaking, all you hear is...
Well, we didn't hear it. Everyone else heard
Everyone
it.
else heard it, yeah, that's why. And it was difficult to tell you guys what the problem was. 'Cause it was just
It's
like
like-
static that was like demonic level, like it was hell level static.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
No, I don't know what the hell that mic was doing. I really don't. And it's the microphone itself, because it still does it.
No, it doesn't. It's sitting in front of me and it's perfectly
no, it
fine. It
did
was
it-
my laptop.
No, it was the microphone, because it did it to me
Well,
the other
that
day,
couldn't handle
remember?
it.
I think it was my laptop, to be honest.
Maybe it was the laptop, but I don't think so. But anyway, still, that was a nightmare on its own. I mean,
Natsu destroying Tunes' screen.
Nazi destroying your
Yeah, Natsu pulling down my backdrop. It was that's in there. Which
Yeah,
episode
no,
was that? Was it Baka?
I think it was
I think it was
Baka.
Baka, yeah. That was funny.
Hilarious.
You're sitting there and Natsu, you just check the screen start moving. And then she goes, that was good.
Yeah,
I like
and then I had to
that.
kill my camera, try to put it back. Yeah. I'm missing that. He's not with me right now. He's back in Durban. But I miss his
Oh, no, it
shenanigans.
sucks. Yeah, that sucks. So, I mean, are you gonna get him back down there, or are you gonna move back up to Durban?
No, I'm probably gonna. It's very likely I'm gonna move back to Durban at the end of the year. Later,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he'll stay there for a while. I hope he doesn't forget me. That's what I'm. most
I don't
afraid
think.
of.
No,
will.
he
You know
won't.
what, dude? Honestly, our cats. We when we phone back to South Africa every once in a while to speak to my mom, obviously. But we also she sometimes takes video of the cats and shows us the cats and says, look, the babies are all right and all that. And we'd speak to them and they'd hear our voices and their heads would pop up and they'd look at us, or they'd look at the phone trying to figure out where we are. But they do know, they don't forget who you are.
They just don't know. He just doesn't know where you are, but he knows who you are.
Yeah, 'cause my mom was telling us about the rather painful experience
Broke
that we
my
had.
friggin' heart.
Yeah, it was actually heartbreaking. One of our cats, remember Pippin, the stripy one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big stripy one, not the little stripy one. Oh no,
Yeah,
wait,
not
you
the
only saw the big stripy one. Never mind.
no,
The big
one, I don't
stripy
think you saw
one.
her. Yeah, so he ran out of the house because obviously he likes to run out the door for no reason and just go run around the yard, but you know that. But
Sounds
he
like
ran
that.
straight to the old but he ran straight into the old flat where we used to live. He ran straight in there looking for us. and he doesn't really let my uncle pick him up. I found this out, by the way. He doesn't really let my uncle pick him up. And he actually let my uncle pick him up because he was apparently looking for us. That was very heartbreaking. It's like, oh, my heart. No, it was bad for us. Yeah.
I can't imagine.
But
you guys have like 10 babies. Each of them
Nice.
own personality.
yeah, no, we do miss them. It can't be any easier for you. You know, you haven't seen Natsu in how long now? Must be over a year by now.
No, it's 2 months. I was home for Christmas.
Right, you
It's
were.
like
Yes.
2 and a
So,
half months, yeah.
okay. Yeah, no. Oh well, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about yourself, not our sad
The new
problems.
segment, Cat Chat. On
Your cat chat. But yeah, so any new games that you're thinking of looking
I'll
at?
do the voiceover.
That's a plan.
Jesus, I don't know. I think because I have so many hobbies, sometimes I can't do all of them at the same time.
I mean, board
I
games
think
as well, by
right
the way.
now. I mean, even board games. I mean, it's pandemic. It's difficult to get people together and have like hands touching things that touch. So it's. I think gaming for me is on a downturn. The stocks are really low for gaming right now with me. So, yeah, I mean, you guys talked a bit about this on Kuya's episode where you were talking about Genshin Impact. And Genshin Impact is really the only thing that I've played most of over the past year or so. Because it's very like, it's chilled. You don't have to think too much. It's not too difficult. It's kind of like one of those games like Stardew Valley where you kind of slowly just build up. It's very like it's like anxiety reducing. I played a couple of things over the December holidays, but I think Edith Finch I played, which was really good. It's a walking simulator.
I've heard that's quite good.
Yeah, it's
Never
one
heard
of
of it, to
those
be
walking
honest.
simulator things where the environmental storytelling is really important. And that was I mean, I enjoyed that. I've got a backlog sitting there. I mean, I've got Persona 5 sitting on my PS4. I've got Call of Cthulhu sitting there for a while. I've got that
Call of
pirate,
Cthulhu, is that
Magic Pirate game? I forget what it's called.
Monkey Island?
That's been sitting there for a while. Have you guys heard of that game? What's it called? Jeez.
Magic pirate game. No, it sounds interesting.
It's like a pirate game, but there's magic and stuff. It's like Dragon Age, but like set in
Tempest?
pirate times.
No, it can't be Tempest. No.
Oh, I think I've heard of
It's
it.
not Sea of Thieves.
No, it's not Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
I think I wanted it actually, and then I found Atlas, and then I fell in love with
Kez is
Atlas.
Googling it. Yeah.
She is.
I think I played it for
Yeah,
like
she is.
half an hour. And
I think if you're looking for pirate
kind of
games,
like, okay,
yeah, sorry.
yes, so I haven't played anything notable in a while, but I think this is kind of just what happens towards the beginning of a new console generation. Like there's a lot of hype when the console is released, but there's a lull
I
in
can't
game
find it.
releases for a long
Yeah,
time.
it's
I
true.
think I just happened to coincide with not being that interested in the releases and there being no releases for
Yeah.
a while.
You're like me, dude. It's
I mean, I've put off buying a PS5.
yeah, me too. Yeah,
I've put off.
I can't find it.
It's fine. It's not that serious. I think it's a solid game, but it's not something that's like super amazing like Spider-Man or something. So yeah, I think like I was not going to be an early adopter for PS5 because there wasn't going to be any games. It's super expensive to buy in South Africa compared to other places.
Yeah.
And
wasn't Captain Sabertooth?
I'm
was
just
it?
on like, no, Captain Sabertooth.
No, I saw that. That looks like a very baby game. I don't think it's Captain
I don't
Captain
know.
Saber
I'm
2.
just looking at games here. Oh wait, I do remember it. It wasn't Risen. Yeah, but I think I know what it is though. It wasn't Risen. It was a game similar to Risen though. Skull and Bones.
I know I wanted Skull and Bones.
Not Skull and Bones. Jeez, we all try to look for the title of this game. Nothing is happening.
Anyway,
No, well, we can carry on talking while we're doing that. I mean, it's not like it's.
Yeah,
Is it an open world game?
I think so. I didn't go far enough to see any open world.
Okay.
what did you think about the Bethesda news with Microsoft?
It wasn't really.
There's a
If
guy
you
that-
heard about it.
Yeah, it's not good. I don't like it. I think it kind of removes a bit of competition, and sometimes it's just disappointing. Like, even if they have timed exclusives, like the fact that you cannot like play certain games
On a certain
on
platform.
certain consoles. And
Yeah.
like, I don't like it when it comes to third-party games or games that were originally third-party. Obviously,
Yeah.
it makes sense for games that were always on a certain console and made by first-party studios. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
buying third-party studios, especially with long-running series like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, like, jeez, I'm not a fan of that. I'm hoping that it is timed exclusives, especially when it comes to Elder Scrolls 6 and nothing more than not like platform exclusives like permanently, which I don't think they would do. Especially because Microsoft
Yeah.
isn't even really going for exclusivity. Like they got Xbox and like PC and like tablets, and I'm sure there'll be
Exactly.
like Google Glass versions of all of these games. Like AR and VR. And, yeah, so I mean, Microsoft has had the problem that they don't have a lot of first-party games. So
Yeah.
this was obviously like a big move to try and fix that. But I don't think it's very consumer-friendly. But like, they probably don't
Yeah.
care because it's about the money, you know. So
The thing is, I
yeah,
think Microsoft.
kind of mixed feeling.
Sorry, yeah, no, it's the time delay here is quite hectic.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like 2 seconds, like from where like when your mouse starts
It's
moving,
weird.
Yeah.
Jeez, sorry about that.
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
say something.
No. Yeah, I was in it off. I just had mixed feelings. What are your guys' thoughts?
To be honest, from my side, it's look, I'm happy that Microsoft has bought Bethesda out and are looking at actually making the games better. You know, we've got Microsoft Game Pass, so I'm going to be playing Fallout 76 once Microsoft actually fixes it.
But the question is, will they actually fix it though, or did they just buy it for the sake of buying it?
No, Microsoft are look. I understand where their business practices come from. I don't like the company as much as well I should, because I'm an IT tech. You know, I should love Microsoft, but I don't really love Microsoft. I just it's the lesser of two evils, to be honest, when it comes to computers. But the fact of the matter is that when it comes to Microsoft buying Bethesda out, I think it was a good thing in certain aspects, but a bad thing in others. Because for one, depending on how they focus on the games like the Elder Scrolls games and the Fallout games and things like that, if they go and make those exclusive to Xbox or exclusive to Microsoft only, that's basically going to cut them out of an entire market. And as much as people hate to believe this, Sony outsells Microsoft. The truth is, Sony outsells Microsoft. It's always been like that, or it has been for the longest period. Not always, but it has been like that for a long period, where the PS4 outsold the Xbox, the PS2 outsold the Xbox. funny enough, I think the PS3 outsold it at one point, but then obviously the 360 overtook. But still, it's beside the point.
It
The
took a long
360.
while for that to happen, yeah.
It took a long while for them to overtake, but they did eventually overtake. So there the 360 was overtaking the PS3, but PS4 outsold the Xbox, the PS2 outsold the Xbox, and the PS5 so far, from what I can tell, is outselling the Xbox. And if Microsoft decides to take Bethesda and say, oh well, okay, we're going to just cut the whole Sony market out and say no, this is exclusive to Microsoft, what that's going to do is basically take a whole chunk of money away from them. Now, if they were looking at how to make money, then making a game exclusive to your platform is not how to do it, especially not when it comes to the different platforms and how they work. I personally don't think Sony should be doing that either. I believe, yes, Sony should have their exclusive, Microsoft should have their exclusives. Like, you've got your Forzas for Microsoft, you've got your Gran Turismos for PlayStation, you've got your Gears of War for Microsoft, and you've got your it used to be Horizon Zero Dawn and whatnot was for PlayStation, but you've got your Uncharted and things like that for PlayStation. So yes, you can have your exclusives, of course you can. I mean, this is, every company's got to have something different. But don't take like you said, don't take a third-party independent company and just suddenly make them exclusive to one console or one platform, because that is going to screw up business badly. But looking at Microsoft, they may not be that stupid. I think they're quite shrewd when it comes to that kind of thing. They do know how to release on multiple platforms without actually, pissing off the entire clientele. So I think they may pull off a good rescue here. On my side, I do think that Microsoft made a good purchase. I just hope that they stick to their guns and actually have Bethesda release games accordingly, and make sure that even if it is supposed to be independent to Sony, just say, look, okay, it's going to be independent for a short time, and then it'll land up on Xbox and PC, because there were games that were supposed to come out on PlayStation only. But if they release to the other consoles, I don't actually care, to be honest. It's just certain games I do care about, like this pointless releasing on all platforms, like Uncharted, Gran Turismo, and all that crap, because we all know them as exclusives for those particular consoles. So yeah, that's my opinion.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. It's business-wise, it's a good purchase that they made, but how they will use it will end up determining how we, as the consumer, see whether it was a good move or not. So they have options. It's going to depend how the next few years go.
As long as they don't go EA, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Well, I'm very skeptic. I think they just bought it for the clientele and they're not going to do anything. But that's just me. I think they just bought it to go, oh, look, we can have this now. Come to Microsoft, come to Xbox, come to us, because we have these games now too. And they won't fix it or work on it, but that's just my thinking.
Yeah, that's
that would be a very stupid
on
move.
On a decline.
Yeah.
Bethesda's as a publisher was in decline, with like Fallout 76 being a flop, Fallout 4 not being as polished as it could have been, the whole thing with the modders and that community being kind of thrown under the bus. And just the money decisions were not optimal or consumer friendly. If they manage to turn all of that around with better business practices, then it might be a win-win for everybody. But it's like, what decisions they're gonna make.
That's to be seen.
Gonna help.
Yeah, that's to be seen. We can only hope that Microsoft actually does pull something out and actually looks out for the community, because of the fact that Microsoft actually hasn't been, their IPs have been very limited. Extremely limited until only recently when they started bringing out new games like your Forza. Well, I can honestly tell you that when Kez's dad bought an Xbox 360, I had a PS3 at the time, and he showed me Forza on the Xbox, and I was not impressed. Not with the first Forzas that I saw. The first few Forzas that came out were not impressive. They didn't impress me at all. I was like, no, I've got my Gran Turismo, the graphics are better, gameplay is better, the controllability on the cars is better. I prefer that because it actually feels more realistic. Then Microsoft went, and that's also why I won't play Forza Motorsport, because I'm just not interested in motorsport. That version of it, it's just it doesn't appeal to me. I've got my Gran Turismo for that. But then they brought out Horizon, and I thought, oh my god, there it is. There's my the game I have been looking for to wipe EA's face right in it and say, you know what, screw you, I'm not playing any of your underground bullshit because your games are so linear and boring now. They're no longer the Need for Speed Underground 2s that we used to play. And the most epic Need for Speed ever designed was Underground 2. There will be no other game that can compete with that game on the EA market. Then Horizon 4 came out, and I was like, this game is fucking amazing. Because it is. It is awesome to be able to play that game, and I will play a game that is basically like playing Need for Speed Underground, but with a multitude more cars. You can design the cars however you want to. Certain cars get certain packs. You can build the engines. You can literally adjust the car like you would be able to in like dropping suspension down a little bit, and every little adjustment that you make will change how you drive. If you try and do rally racing in a car that's built for drifting, you're going to cuck. You're not going to be able to do it. If you try speed like a track racing on a car that does mainly rally racing, the car's going to slide all over the road. So it's actually very well designed. I think that they did a very good job with that game, and that's where I think Microsoft is actually, they're trying to look after the gamers a little bit more. They still need a bit of work, but they're getting there. At least there I can say, I'm happy to say that Microsoft has at least done something. I just hope they do the same with Bethesda.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have gotten this far if they weren't doing anything properly.
Well, I mean,
but it's very
we only
interesting.
have one computer company.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is making some forward-thinking, interesting moves, and I'm hoping that Sony is not sleeping on it, because Microsoft is thinking like 3 chess moves ahead. And I think maybe that's why they aren't doing as well right now, or they were forced to move 3 places ahead and take a hit in the moment. But, with things like Game Pass, just multi-platforming, it's Sony's game to lose here from the PS4 generation.
Yeah, Sony's going to have to start looking at
Pulling
upping
up
their game.
those socks.
Yeah, they're going to have to start looking at upping their game. In my opinion, they're going to have to start looking at upping their game, because they're I mean, yes, they may have outsold Xbox this time, but they're starting to lull, and you can see it. And that's the thing. You can actually you're starting to see Sony's sales starting to level out, and eventually they're going to start going down like that, because Sony is not looking at it from a good perspective. Essentially, they're looking at it from, okay, well, we've got the market. They won't leave us. Yeah, they will. I haven't played on my PS4 for a while. I do still have my PS4, but I'm playing on my PC now. I've got a very expensive gaming PC, and I'm playing a lot of the games that the Microsoft Game Pass is actually giving me. I've got a wide variety of games to play, and Sony is going to have to start putting some finger, otherwise they're not going to be able to compete, and they will become like Nintendo and the Sega systems and all of the old systems. I'm not talking about the Nintendo Wii's and all of that. I'm talking about when Nintendo was still a competitor in the market of gaming consoles. Sega fell through, Nintendo fell through because Sony came in. Now there's a new competitor on the market, and that's Microsoft. And Microsoft is starting to actually go, hey, we can do the same thing. So now you're going to have to start. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of good, healthy competition, but Sony needs to actually start looking at fixing their issues, in my opinion.
They haven't had to for a while, and I think that's where the problem comes in, where they've been like the top dogs for so long. They just go, oh, no, it's fine. We always know that Sony will be fine. Our PlayStations are around. We have our loyal fans. But as you were saying, times are changing. You kind of need to change with the times. Otherwise, you will become a dinosaur and just die out.
That's what happened with Sega.
For sure. I mean, this has happened before. It happened it even happened with Sony. Like at the start of when the PS3 was announced, like everybody was taken aback by how they could be like, okay, $600 for this machine. And they were like, oh, people will get a second job to buy this thing. It was like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and they got a hit.
They took a bad hit there,
Too much Had too much faith with the PS2 sales to think they could do no wrong, and they were taught the lesson, which they seem to be forgetting.
Yeah, they seem to be
because that was
forgetting
recent
it.
memory. That wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was literally 2 generations back. You know, it's not that long ago. And that's the thing, you know, that yes, they've learned from the price market, and they've learned from the backward compatibility issue. So you can now play PS3 games on PS4. Oh, sorry, PS4 games on PS5, which is a good thing. It's a good thing that you can do that, because people. I was very, very ready to actually go, you know what, screw that, I'm buying an Xbox. If Sony decided that they were not going to make the games backward compatible, I was very close to actually just going, you know what, I'm not buying a PS5. I'll get an Xbox rather, because you know what, I'll keep my PS4 and I'll buy an Xbox rather, because at least Xbox is backward compatible, and they try to actually help the fans. But Sony they're starting to, I think they made a couple of good choices, making the PS4 cheaper, PS5 cheaper. So essentially the PS5 being, what was it, £450 for us. So I mean, I was actually expecting it to be £500. To be honest, I was actually expecting it to be that much, and we were preparing to buy it at that price. Well, now that we can't get any anyway. But we were trying to obviously save up to get a PS5, and we were going to get like the PS5 and the 2 controllers and some games and stuff. But I think the company, this is also where I have an issue, is the next gen markets, when it comes to certain greedy companies. That is also what pisses me off. How dare companies like 2K say, oh, well, people are ready to start paying $70 for a game. Really? It's very quick to actually, people are very quick to just go, you know what, fuck you, I'm not buying your game. Have they not learned their lesson? Yeah. That's the thing. 2K have not learned their lesson. What they're now doing is $70 for a game. People are going to go, well, I'm not going to buy and play your game. There's plenty of other games out there. Fuck you. I'm out of here.
Buy it second hand from one of those like cash converter stores or something.
Yeah, just not give 2K any money at all. You know, that's also where 2K are starting to learn their lesson. And their stocks have also started to drop, because they're oh, the market is ready for $70 for a game. I'm not ready to pay that kind of money for a game. I'm sorry, I paid £50 for a game as it is. I'm not going to pay any more.
No one's ready to pay that much for a game. But I think, like, the thing is, there is no. It's difficult because there's no standard. So, like, you know, a multiplayer game that's new is the same price of like a single player game. The same price of like a 5-hour game versus like a 50-hour game. So, like,
yeah,
I think like if you tell me, okay, you got to spend like $60 or $70 on a game now, you got to tell me like what the value proposition is and whether it's
exactly.
And I'm actually like, I would be prepared to pay even like $80 or $90, but you have to tell me there's no other thing I have to spend money on in this thing.
Exactly.
It's like the 70 hours of whatever of gameplay. You will never be asked to spend any more money, and we've put all the quality that we need to put in this game. Then I'll be fine with spending $70, $80, $90. But if you're going to be like, okay, pay extra, but then also every 2 seconds there'll be a pop-up that says, oh, you should spend money on this currency and that currency and buy this boss armor and that
2K.
Then that makes it even worse. That makes it even worse, because I was like, okay, you already your average income on each like sale is already higher than 60 in that case, because now you're getting more income. So why change the price? If that was the case, you should make the base game cheaper so that you get more people in.
For free.
And then you nail them with the yeah, exactly. Like it's one or the other. You can't go halfway. It's either you go to free play model, or you go a full, like, at least in my opinion, you go full sale game, but there's no other expectations of spending money.
Exactly.
Because the problem now is, because there is those other free-to-play kind of elements in those games, like you're getting things like, you know, like expert mode or like easy mode, where you like pay to make all the enemies like less powerful, or like, you know, in the Assassin's Creed game, and you like pay to get extra XP and stuff like that. And it's like ridiculous. Like, why is that a thing? That makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah, Ubisoft has gone downhill. Hey, holy crap! They used to be a good company. I mean, I just recently bought Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood and Revelations on Xbox. Xbox and Steam. And I'm happy to purchase those ones. I'm not going any further though. I've got the others on PS3, and look, I've got all the games on PS3 and PS4, well, almost all of them. But the fact of the matter is, when I see them, if I see it second hand, I'll buy it. I will not give Ubisoft any money. I refuse to pay them any money. They are money-grabbing turds. They do not deserve our money, and I'm not going to actually give them the time of day. That's just how I feel.
Not strongly at all.
Yes, no, I'm not happy about
I
it.
have
It's the same as Square Enix.
no interest in playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla anytime soon.
Yeah, neither have I. I'll wait till it's
maybe
like
a couple of years.
£12.
Yeah, wait for a super sale.
I'll wait for it to be like £12 and then I'll buy it. Yeah, no, I feel you, dude. I know exactly where you're coming from. It's the same thing with Square Enix. I mean, have you heard the new rip-off that they're doing now? I knew it was coming. Everyone's like, oh no, they'll never do it. They'll never do it. They'll be good. I'm like, yeah, no, Square Enix, no, they won't. So what the new rip-off that they've got is, oh, well, we're gonna remake the remake of Final Fantasy VII. It's like, you fucking assholes. And I knew it was coming. I was like, you people are gonna see it. They're gonna remake this game again for PS5, and they're gonna charge you a shit ton of money for a new game because they don't care. They want to fuck you hard. They want all your money, and they'll do anything they can to get it. And this is exactly why I said I will not buy the remake of Final Fantasy VII. I will buy it secondhand when it's the full series. When I've got the full series. I mean, come on. When the full game is released.
Even then it might not be the full series. There might be a, but wait, there's more.
Yeah, no, it's typical then. Yeah. Well, the epilogue is Crisis Core. That's the thing. Most people don't know, but the epilogue actually is Crisis Core. So you got that
for sure. But the messaging is so weird because, like, I mean, there's bound to be some people who think like this is the next part of the Final Fantasy series, but it's not.
They're gonna be shocked.
Yeah, it's like they're taking their fan base for fools, like in the way they.
Yeah, exactly, and there will be people who do it.
Like,
they
should just like kept quiet and like made the second part and then released the second part. Like, why is there this DLC for part 1 of the series? Like, it makes no sense.
And they're like, oh, and I really love these people. They're like, oh, it's a whole new game. It's not a whole fucking new game. It's the same game that's been remade pretty with different gameplay mechanics. So now they're just using Final Fantasy 15 gameplay mechanics in Final Fantasy 7. It's not a whole new game. It's, my God, when it comes to Final Fantasy, the story is the most important thing about that game. Final Fantasy VII has always been about the story.
Any of them is about the story, though.
Not really. They're somewhat too linear, like 13. 13. But the aspect, the story aspect of Final Fantasy has always been what actually captures the player. When they say, "Oh no, it's a whole new game," I looked at some of the playthroughs. So they've got voice actors in. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. But when I said that they were going to screw you, not you personally, obviously, but when I said that they were going to screw the gamers again, I was not wrong. I knew that they were going to come up with another thing to empty this little thing here out, just to take a little more out. Just spend an extra £50 on this Game Pass, not this Game Pass, this season pass, and you'll get exclusives. The season pass lasts for like 6 months and you get nothing. You get like 1 or 2 DLCs and then nothing else comes out. Not worth it. And then, as you said, there's that. Yeah, pay extra money for a DLC that's not even part of the game. It's just there. Yeah, extra money. Pay. Come, give us more money. So I was very quick in going. Screw you. I'm not that stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
But
got
I mean-
Final
I
Fantasy
mean-
7.
I
I'm
mean,
happy.
That's looking at it on like the consumer side, but like even if you think on like on the production side, they actually chose to redo something that was already done, not even a year old,
Yeah.
spend all company resources instead of making part
Yeah.
two, which is what they're supposed to be doing. Like it's like
Like,
It's like the South African government that spends money on a name change.
yes, exactly.
hilarious. It's like, what kind of business are you running when you make these kind of decisions? Like,
It's cool.
well, our coal got wet, so we need to redo it.
Our coal got wet. We can't. I mean, that was. I still love that one. Our coal got wet, so we can't. It's like, you can burn wet coal, right?
Dry it, put it in the sun.
That was
No,
the
man, the
stupidest
tumble
excuse I'd ever
dryer.
heard. That was the stupidest excuse I'd ever heard. Our coal got wet. It's like, you do realize
Yeah, I
you put
know.
wet coal into a furnace, it still cooks, right? Water evaporates.
So you've started. I didn't see one last weekend. I think, I don't know, but you started your Dungeons and Dragons role playing game where you have different people on every stream with different characters, and obviously it's your world. How did you come up with it? I love the idea of different characters and different people. It makes it interesting, and it's not the same again and again and again. Tell us about that and how you came up with it and how it's going and when we can see the next one and all those things.
Yeah, I don't know when you'll see the next one. I might do some world building tonight. But I mean, D&D is a very, I suppose, mental energy intensive thing to do, especially dungeon mastering. So it's been difficult to get the energy. That's why I'm still in like a testing phase for it, seeing how it goes. But essentially the whole premise is, I mean, there's now plenty of like D&D podcasts where everybody just like goes on a quest with a single set of group or a single group of people and they like play through the story. But I was thinking of trying to take some like podcast principles and like marketing principles and try and join it together and to make something new that not many other people were doing, and also do a format of D&D that's very different because everybody's used to having like 4+ players. But it's a totally kind of different game where there's 1 or 2 players. And the game kind of becomes more engaging for the players because a lot of time is spent on them instead of being divided amongst other players. So it's much more of a storytelling experience than it's like I suppose like a video game type of experience. And also, like wanted to have different guests on every week so I can play with a whole bunch of different people. Especially other like dungeon masters, which always never have the chance to play because they've done mastering. We all like
exactly.
Stuff that we play. So it's kind of like it's a D&D campaign mixed with like an interview podcast and format, and then in setting, because my whole brand is about science communication and stuff like that. It is a setting that's based on what a university would look like in a medieval magic setting, and how what would the themes of either personal stories or like world, government, politics would kind of change if you have this entity that's not like a kingdom or an army that is trying to make moves in the world in terms of gaining knowledge and using it for the people. So that's the entire premise, like putting some science into D&D and see how that works. And then each of the players that come through would be like different students that would have attended the university and got certain amounts of training, but are also developing their own place in the world that's not kind of set to what everyone else is doing. So it sounded interesting to me. It's a very different way of playing D&D. It's a very different way of podcasting D&D. And I'm still working on on the format and how it's going to work and the technical side, because it's a lot to, well, what I've learned so far, it's just a lot to take care of when you're both dungeon mastering and trying to essentially be a game engine in a person and try and, you make this world come alive, but also like stream the technical side and also like, interact with chat, because you're very busy doing one thing. So yeah, I noticed like my chat goes and I don't have time to even like look at it. So it's kind of a journey for me to try and figure out how to put all of these things together in a way that's going to be, elegant, I suppose, and worth watching. So I'm still working on it, getting play testers to come through. But because it takes so much out of me, I think I've slowed the roll on it and I'm working bit by bit on it to see what I can do over time. So, I mean, you guys were my first play testers, I think. So what did you guys think of
I love
the session that we had?
I love this.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a lot of fun. Very, very different to the normal D&D things. Like we did a few sit-throughs with Gork with the Lucky Packet party, and the one that we did with you was a lot different, where it was the university and you went to go and learn things, and I, as always, trying to make friends with the freaking slime. But the story behind it and the way you laid it out was very different, and more like learny type of thing instead of more fantasy kind of thing, but they mixed in the end, which was really, really cool for me, I think.
Yeah, no, I thought the way the story was designed was very well. I think it was very well done. I think that you actually acted yourself really. Building on that story would actually be awesome to I mean, I would love to see how much further this world can actually go. What's really cool though is you're doing like side quests. So essentially, there's no real main quest at the moment. At least nothing I've seen. But you've got a lot of little side quests. And if you had to obviously integrate one big main side quest into it, where the character, where each different player has to actually, sort of like, I think the best way to put it would be the Next Generation or Star Trek. From the Next Generation to about to Voyager or even Enterprise, where each episode was its own thing, but there was an underlying story that you'd find out, like with TNG. Well, with all of it was basically Borg. But essentially, there was like an extended story, but that wasn't the main focus of each episode. Each episode was built into this little story, and then the main story would just develop as each episode carried on. That is a really good way of actually looking at it. And I think that the way you're running it is brilliant. The whole. Each episode is different. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to each quest. It makes it more fun for people to actually be able to interact. What's really funny is you did that, and I was like, no, this is just going to make me playing Baldur's Gate have even more fun. Because each time I play, each week I stream it, I'm doing something different. Or at least I'm trying to do something different. So I've been grinding for the last 2 weeks just to get my characters strong enough, but I have been doing quests in between, and that makes it more fun. It makes it more interactive, and to be honest, people will actually I think that people will listen to it more because there's story. I mean, each time there's different personalities that come in, because you've got different people coming in, and each person has their own unique personality for each character that they choose, and the more you do that, the more it changes. So yes, some people may choose the same character as someone else did, but their personality is different, which makes the character a completely different character. So it actually makes it more fun to actually witness how people change people's characters and how they would change a character to fit their personality. It epically done, dude. Absolutely epically done.
Yeah, I like it as well, where it's different people, because you never know what to expect.
Exactly.
Indeed.
And
different
you
people
got weirdos like me.
change the course of a character's arc. I mean, there is a bigger. I do have bigger plot lines in that world, because it's my homebrew world that I started in 2014, I think, when I first started playing Dungeons and Dragons, and kind of have slowly built up over the years. And I've had my friends groups that we've played for, I don't know, maybe sessions or so. And there is plot lines that are kind of going on in each like country or specific area. And what I did envision for having different people come through every time is that there is an underlying kind of thing that's going on in the background, and once like I have a group of people who've kind of tugged on those threads, I could probably get them all together and maybe do like a mini kind of series where we try and figure out okay what's going on in that side. But it's all like that's all grand ideas. It's going to take one grain of sand at an idea to make up the whole house.
Yeah.
It's really I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Of course,
I need to work on it. It's one of those things where I need to get the energy to do it. It's so tiring. But I'm just going to continue working on the world, getting people to play test, and then maybe I'll officially start it. The episode 1 will happen one day. It's a work in progress.
No, it is interesting to see the story. We are obviously we were happy to play and love this. As Kez said, it's a very interesting story. I think it's the first time she's actually had to use her imagination as much as that. She says she doesn't have an imagination, that she can't picture what people are explaining to her.
Way.
I said, well, she can. It's just that she's not used to it. That's all. Exactly. Because she's just not used to it, and that day I think actually unlocked that part of her brain, and she realized, oh wait, I love this. I can actually picture it. My brain has actually figured it out. Certain things, but it just needs to be unlocked, and I think that's all it really took for Karen to actually get. Doesn't really matter. My name is out there. Her name is out there. So
Boxed. Yeah.
Not really. You
Dun dun dun.
Everyone knows our names anyways. But once her mind actually started seeing the she just needed the right push in the right direction and the right person to actually help her get there. And I think it did help that you actually just you had a very intriguing story that actually got her going and got her actually seeing things. And then she started seeing things in her head, and she started actually being able to build on that in her own mind, which is great because it helps her with her imagination as well. Because now I think it's helping her with her drawing as well, because she's actually using her own imagination to draw pictures now. So she's still obviously taking from certain, she's still learning, so she's still busy trying to take from different books and things like that to be able to build from what she needs to.
I drew Grr.
She drew Grr, so she's taking from different characters. Yeah, she did. She managed to draw Grr. I was actually very impressed.
Why didn't she show me? Jeez.
I'll send it to you.
Send it to you. But yeah, so she started using her imagination, and she's drawn some really. I get blown away by some of the pictures she draws, which she says I drew it myself. I didn't actually use anything, because it shows you that she actually does have an imagination and that she has a very vivid imagination.
Yeah.
She just never really unlocked it before, and it's nice to see that this is actually helping her. So we're doing more of the D&D kind of thing as well. So obviously, if you ever need us to jump on again,
how did it go with the Lucky Packet? What is it called? Lucky Packet group.
Lucky Packet Party. Yeah, I think it's on permanent hiatus.
Yeah, Gork is he recently had an operation that he was busy recovering from, but then they moved, and he's also going back to school, so he's studying towards a teaching degree or teaching doctorate or something like that, which is taking up quite a bit of his time. So it's kind of on hiatus as well at the moment, just until things calm down with him, because he's got his assignments and exams, and we all know what that's like when you're trying to do something and learn more, and then you've still got to do all this other things as well. It's hard to find the balance between them.
Staying consistent with content creation is the most difficult thing, especially as an adult. It's just so hard. It's so hard to put something out every week for like 52 weeks out of the year. It's like
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds easy when you say it, but like in practice, you never get there. And every time you go on hiatus and come back, it feels like you're starting from zero again. And
Yeah.
obviously you've leveled up from before, but it's still like starting back at like, you know, back at the bar in
Yeah.
TV campaign, back at and then just going on your adventure.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. I mean, that's how we felt as well when we had to go on that extended hiatus from moving here because of the fact that it's just been it was so hectic to get comfortable. And now that we finally moved into our own place and we're actually like more settled and more comfortable, we're starting to, as you can see, we're starting to get more consistent again, and we're starting to get back to our routines. With a few changes now, because now we've actually got something set in stone, and we do it every single week. The times may change, so for example, when we stream, our times may change, but you know, at the end of the day, it makes, you know, we still got the content there, we're still creating it, and we actually now finally have an editor that can help us actually just not waste all of our time editing, so we can actually create the content. Because I think that was the big thing, was that you know, we would create the content and then we'd have to sit and edit it, and it would take all of the time up, and we just didn't want to do it. You know, you want some time to spend with, I mean, you know, Kez and I want time to spend with each other, and we couldn't because, well, you know, how can you when you're streaming all the time or you're editing all the time?
Constantly working on content. No,
Yeah.
it's very it's similar with me. Like I love editing. I love to edit videos and make very funny, well edited and knowledgeable videos. But it just takes so long. It's like
Yeah.
for every I think minute that you would the final product probably takes more than an hour to create, and there's just not enough time and mental energy to do that every week. I think that's why I gravitate more towards podcasts, because the overall investment in it is a lot lower. But you're still creating something consistent. It's easier to be consistent with the podcast than it is to be like with an edited video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like our editor explained it very well the other day, which makes sense to all of us. For every hour that you record, you spend about at least 2 to 3 hours editing it to make sure that everything is perfectly fine. So yes, you may record for an hour, but it doesn't take an hour to edit that video afterwards, depending on what it is. Like a podcast is easy to edit, but like the other videos that you make, like our 7 Days to Die one, or like any other videos in general, take a lot longer because there's things that you need to add. And I love editing too as well, but like right now there's just no time.
Seeing what our editor's done with our videos kind of proves that we needed someone to jump in and make our videos funnier, because you know what?
All else were rushed previously just to like meet the deadline, which isn't
Yeah.
really the way you should be doing it.
Yeah, and he edited them and he made them look like so awesome. I mean, you know, I've honestly not, looking at these videos, he made me laugh at things that I didn't even know were funny. so he's that good.
That's good. That's interesting. Yeah.
Shout out to Evil Toast.
Yeah, shout out to Evil
If you
Toast
think
there.
about Evil Toast. If you think about like a movie, like when you like sit through the credits of like a Marvel movie, how many names are on that thing? You know, and it's a 90-minute production. And we out here by ourselves, like trying to do 1,000 people's work. That's where like having like a division of labor like helps a lot, but you then have to have the resources to hire them in the first place, unless they're doing it on a voluntary basis. And that's why I think, you know, collaboration is also important in this field.
Yeah.
Having people to divide time is really important. I think that's why I had a bit of a bother with the D&D podcast, because if I had somebody else to just focus on the stream, then my dungeon mastering would have been 10 times better, because I can just like focus on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's one of those things where you have to start off doing everything, and then slowly over time, as I suppose income comes in, then you can start outsourcing different things, and it just takes a while to get to that point, unless you just have another job that's funding it, which is, you know, our situation.
Yeah, it does it only. Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Well, that's why we were smart and we found our editor in South Africa so we can pay in pounds.
Yeah, jeez. And look, it's still expensive. It's not expensive. It still costs money, you know. It still costs money.
No,
though.
it's going to cost money either way.
Yeah.
But it's not as much as it would have been if we had to hire someone here.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, someone local. Honestly, it would cost us. We'd have to pay them basically £14 an hour. Or
Jeez,
basically, and that's a lot of money to spend on a. Essentially, you have to pay them hourly, unless you set up a rate. But they would have to have some sort of living wage for the amount of time that they work, and that would mean that we'd have to pay them hourly. And that would be way over like £300 a month, and we just don't have that kind of money to spend on editing, or at least on an editor now. Obviously, the idea is to give Evil Toast more money once we start getting further and further on, and we start making more money here. We're looking at actually giving him more money as well, and essentially taking profits from us and giving it to him, because we're trying to build up a name for ourselves, and we've got to spend the SA Geeks money.
Gotta spend money to make money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're spending the money from the SA Geeks on the SA Geeks, and that includes the people who are editing. It's not us. We're not going to be making any money for a very long time. We won't make any profit out of this, but the people who are helping us will be getting the money out of it. So, and that's the most important thing, is that they're essentially working to pay their bills by making our videos look good, essentially. The easiest way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is work. It is work that needs to be paid. And it helps you guys out.
And it helps out as well, like during this pandemic where everyone is struggling to find work and all that. It's also one of the reasons why I spoke to Zip and I said, why don't we just try and do this? I don't have the time to do it, but with us hiring someone else, it's job creation. So it might help someone that needs that little bit of extra income.
Or helps them build their business.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, you never know. I mean, Evil Toast might just start his own business, massive business doing this. I mean, it's not just our videos that he's editing. He is actually editing other people's videos. But his business might become bigger and bigger, and he can hire more people to start doing that. And that would obviously then create an entire business, which will then create more jobs. So essentially, it's a rolling factor where we're trying to we started small, and we can try and help someone build their business. Then we can say, okay, like we've got content creator friends who we'd speak to as well. Guys here in Scotland who'd be more than happy to actually hire someone else to do their video editing and say, okay, well, you know, these guys use this guy and he's pretty good with their videos, so let's ask him if he wants to work with us. And then, you know, it snowballs essentially, and then you never know, Evil Toast has got a huge thriving editing business, you know, or an editing company, you know. So it's you know, especially now with the trouble that's being caused, and as Kez said, with pandemic causing so many job losses and so many people actually landing up in a terrible situation, it's nice for us to try and help, especially in South Africa, because it's where we come from, and we know that South Africa is struggling a lot more than, say, here in the UK or the United States or Australia or any of the first world countries. South Africa is I mean, they're cucking, so trying to help them as much as we can is obviously something that we would definitely try and do. You know, born and bred South Africans, unfortunately, or people who live, you know, everywhere else. But you know, it's just the way it goes.
So you guys are focused now on YouTube and Twitch. Abandoned other things, or you guys transitioned to other things?
Mainly YouTube. We're actually starting to veer further and further away from Twitch. Their rules are becoming more and more stupid, and it's just that we're not interested in working on or we're not interested in when the time comes and Twitch decides, okay, well, you know, we're going to turn into the next Pornhub. You know, that's it, we're done. You know, we can't be on there anymore. We'd have to move on to a different platform. So DLive will be where we'd go, or one of the other streaming companies that are out there. But at the moment, streaming to YouTube seems to be the best way to go, because
we actually stream to both, but that's also because we worked quite hard on our Twitch channel, so it's kind of to try and keep it going because we did put a lot of time and effort into it. So I don't really
Yeah.
want to see it die and go to waste.
Until Twitch decides to kill it.
Yeah.
So when the time comes and Twitch actually does kill off all creators' channels from there, then we'll move over to something else.
But we're funnier on YouTube videos.
We are much better at YouTube videos. We figured that out ourselves. We're not the entertainment factor. I mean, I can go for about 2 hours on one Saturday doing the Baldur's Gate thing or the BioWare thing, playing a game like that, and entertaining people with my weird accents and my weird talking and stuff like that. That's something I can do, but it's not something that I can do day in, day out. I need. We're much funnier when you see like snippets of how funny we actually are, like watching the 7 Days to Die videos. You know, we've got points where we're really funny, and it's short little snippets of funniness. And podcasts, you know, we like talking to friends. We like actually discussing things like this.
It's a good catch-up session.
It's a good catch-up session on top of it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm using it for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about it? Because you also used to, well, you're on both as well, but it seems like you're doing more of the YouTube thing now as well.
Yeah, I'm also kind of tired of Twitch and the overall kind of business choices and certain things that have happened over the past couple of years that I'm not so sure that Twitch is very, for one, user-friendly platform, and well, not user-friendly, more as consumer-friendly.
Yeah, consumer and creator.
Sure, there's a community on there that's very, very, very dedicated to it. But if you think about it, like, it'll be more and more difficult to gain a following on Twitch just because the way of how people who have more viewers are pushed to the front. So it's like an extreme like Pareto curve where if you're successful, you're gonna get more and more successful, and if you're less successful, it's less likely you're gonna get successful the longer it goes for. And I think we all know as creators there's a discovery problem on Twitch because you're only present when you're live, and highlights aren't like, there's no searchability or like, you know, much tags or anything you can put on it. It's not a VOD platform in that way.
No, it isn't.
And you know, when it comes to things like, you know, the fair use practices and the bans with all of that, I think it's either like Twitch survives this whole like copyright stuff and becomes an eventual YouTube, or they just die. And I don't think Amazon is putting enough money or effort to make Twitch as good of a platform as YouTube is right now, not even focusing on live stream, because YouTube has the VOD stuff down. And once they actually pay attention and put any effort, like, that platform is going to become 10 times better than Twitch. So I think eventually, in my opinion, Twitch is going to fizzle out just as a company, and YouTube is going to take up more and more market share, and maybe even Facebook stream will take up more and more market share. And they have just this you know, this massive amount of experience being on the internet much longer.
Exactly.
Twitch has having experienced a lot more, and having, you know, Google money involved in it. Amazon has money, but they're just not putting enough, I think, into Twitch, into making it a user and consumer friendly platform, especially for creators.
I think Amazon are more focused on.
So
their...
I'm gonna try and stream on Twitch enough to get my first payout, and then I'll kill Twitch, and I'll just stream on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think I'm like at
Yeah, no, I think, jeez, this latency is ridiculous. Holy crap!
The latency is weird, eh?
Jeez,
latency is weird because I'm looking at you, and it's like, there's no way he's gonna say anything, and I should just continue. And then all of a sudden I hear the sound, and I see you like 2 seconds later talking.
Jeez, no, it's madness. It's actually crazy.
It's like the worst video game lag.
Maybe it's our internet, because it never used to be this bad before.
No, we're not. No, it's. Are you downloading something?
No.
because I'm not downloading anything either, so I don't think so. I know that there's an update.
It's just a poopy day, it seems.
I think it's just a poopy day, yeah.
Discord has
Someone's
bad
sitting
days.
watching TV.
They do have bad days.
Yeah, they do. Hey, jeez, they really do have bad days. And also, obviously, we're using both of us are using the browser because Discord decided to actually.
No, I'm
start-
using Discord itself. You're the only one using the browser. That's actually maybe why there's a delay between the
Is
two
there a
of
delay
you.
with you?
No, I can hear tunes fine. Your volume I put very, very down, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. I actually think it is. I think it's the.
Because I'm using the actual Discord app and you're using the browser.
Yeah, because my stupid, well, not my computer, my stupid Discord died on me, and it keeps now doing the whole refresh thing, and it's refreshing, and I really don't have the time or the need or the want to actually delete Discord and have to do it all over again, because you have to delete it from everywhere and then redo it. So I'll attempt it again today. I'll see if I can fix the piece of crap before we move on to the next one. But yeah, when it comes.
It doesn't beat a 15-second delay like we had on the other podcast.
Yeah, geez, like 15-second delay. That was crazy.
Where you all were like talking and I'm just sitting there going,
15
Yeah,
seconds
that's
later,
funny.
she starts laughing.
We
That was really good, I remember that.
joke into the future. That's how funny it was. It was like a joke that transcended time.
Yeah. It was really funny when she did that, though. Because we're all sitting there laughing, and she's sitting there.
Yeah.
And then she starts laughing. I look over. What the hell?
I think it was Zaffa
I
as
think it was
well.
Zappa's one.
Therefore, I think that episode had the most technical difficulties. we should submit like a Guinness World Record. The most technical
Yeah.
difficulties broadcast.
Yeah. I'm seeing Kiz's fist busy.
I'm stretching.
No, I think it's she's just a stretcher. Like me.
YMCA.
But yeah, so yes, exactly.
But I think that's about it for today.
Yeah, I think that must be about it. Anything else that you have to talk about there, Mr. Geekoscopy, Mr. Tunes?
No, not really. I mean, I miss chatting to you guys every week.
Yeah.
So I need to probably think about how we're gonna revamp the Geek Inspired podcast.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea, yes.
I just don't have any good ideas as to how to make it better. So it's gonna need some brainstorming.
Yeah.
And yeah, the way we were doing it, I think, led to the whole difficulties thing because we were trying to stream and podcast at the same time with so many different inputs from different countries and parts of countries. And I think that's what led to a lot of issues. So yeah,
that will.
When we continue, it's probably going to be live. I think we have to kill the live section of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's like this one. Yeah, exactly. It's like this one. We'll never actually make it live.
They work better pre-recorded.
They do, yeah. The whole thing is, it's only obviously if you as the viewers out there, I'm just talking to the viewers now. If you guys think that it's a good idea for us to go live, then we'll switch it out to go live, but we're not doing both. So it's either live or it's edited. But you guys can vote on that one. You can hit the
I
comments
vote for
below.
edited.
Yes, I vote for edited too, but it's what the fans want. So if you guys want it live, though, we'll make it live. But then it's not going to be a podcast. Then you're going to just have to watch it on YouTube. But that's again, that's on them.
You're really interested in like history and stuff, right?
Yep.
Huh?
Wouldn't you like want to make a series
history,
about like
yeah.
video game history?
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, I can do that. No, I was actually thinking of doing a history, like a history section for the SA Geeks, but like not video game history, just history and all, because we are in a country that has an unbelievable amount of history. I actually cannot believe
But video
how
game
much
history
this
is
country has.
video game history is different and interesting too. Why don't you just do it both?
I could make it
Be like me, blend everything together into a big hodgepodge. Yeah,
No, I think it's a good idea.
We could have like, if we had to change the podcast, maybe have like sections where one segment for video game history and one segment for video game science, and like Kez can do artsy stuff for a segment. And maybe that's the thought we can think about.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, that's no, it was something I was looking at doing for the SA Geeks anyway. Was a history thing, but definitely I like the video game history idea. For the podcast, for the whatever we call it now, podcast.
Nothing is said.
Definitely a good idea. Nothing is set in stone. Yes. I know. I'll definitely do that. I think it's a good idea. Yeah. Anyway, now is the time at the end of the stream where we ask Tunes or our guest to
Plug
plug
yourself.
themselves.
Plug myself. It sounds so wrong.
Sisman.
Yeah.
Promote yourself.
Promote
Yes,
myself. That I
shameless
can do.
promotion.
Yeah, you can find
Shameless
You
promotion.
can find all of my current content creation stuff at Geekoscopy.com, which is really, I think, a very nice looking website. I made it myself in Squarespace. And yeah, you can find access there to all of my podcasts. I think I have one blog post up, and I'm gonna start posting some videos soon. So a lot of videos about science communication, and with a bit of geek culture mixed into there. Yeah, Geekoscopy.
Oh, it is very nice.
Yeah, it is.
Just
Sorry, I
get
had
it
to,
for the first
turn
time.
my head.
She's known me for so long.
I know.
Don't you feel so special now? Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's where you find Tunes. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Really, if you're looking at my sciencey stuff, just Google my name. You're gonna see me kiss. You can find my research papers about fish physiology and stuff like that.
There you go. That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, that was Dr. Tunes, as we like to call him. He's obviously a wonderful friend of ours. We've known him since last year. How many years? 3 years now. 3 years, I think. 4 years.
Probably like since 2017.
Yeah, I think it's about 3
yeah.
years.
It's
4 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, 4 years.
It's been a long time. But yes, so yeah, it is. But yes, we've had obviously, as you know, we have a lot of our friends on who are also content creators. Clearly, we are in the content creation community, as you guys all know.
Really? I didn't know
So
that.
we do have a lot of our friends actually jump on from there. We might have a few here from Scotland eventually when we start making some content creator friends up here. But until then, we're going to just keep hunting down new content creators and new people and just getting on and so on and so forth. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a wonderful time. Tunes, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank
It's been
you.
wonderful
for having
having
me.
you. It's more than a pleasure, of course. Why wouldn't we? But yes, it's been wonderful, guys. Thank you so much for the watch. Remember, hit that subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification. Even though it doesn't do anything, it'll ring once and then never again.
And we're also on
It really
all
does
the
nothing, hey. It does nothing.
It does nothing. It's just there as a fancy little picture.
It's a pretty little bell, but if you're not on the YouTube video, you can catch us on Anchor, where you will find all the different audio platforms such as Spotify, iTunes. I think we're on Google Podcasts. I don't know, but there's like 7 different platforms that you can find it there as well. Everything is available on Anchor for you to choose your listening platform.
Yes, and if you are not on Anchor, then you're going to just have to look for us all the podcasts. We are everywhere.
And nowhere.
Everywhere and nowhere at once. Figure that conundrum out. But anyway, yes, if you haven't already subscribed to us here on YouTube, please hit that subscribe notification. hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. I don't know why I say that, but I mean everyone does. So you know, monkey see, monkey do, right? So we'll do what all the other content creators do. Hit that subscribe button, the bell notification, even though it doesn't do a damn thing.
Check out Tunes.
Check out Tunes on his channels. As he already said, they're all there. He is also on YouTube, so you can check him out from there too. And guys, as always, remember,
You can keep it.
keep it. Bye.